Good evening, all.
Good evening, Ram.
Thank you. So once again, in a previous class, we have successfully completed. So what is mean by partitions and how to create a partitions and how to verify attached volumes or hard drives into Linux operating system. And in the second process, in the first command I told you to verifying the partitions, fdisk-l or it is called what? lsblk is the command. So in the second command, I told you how to create a file system with mkfs dot file system name with forcefully. In last class, we have created on the partition name nvme 0 n1 on the partition 5. This is the last class. We have explained only two commands, fdisk command and mkfs command. So today I will show you what is mounting. So guys, and don't confuse. So mounting means logical linking between device and a directory. Device and a directory. So generally, why need to mounting a file system? So in Windows environment, after formatting your device, directly you will store the word data. Directly you will store the word data. But in command line, we cannot store the data directly after creating file system. After formatting the device. So then what is the concept to store the data or retrieving the data in the device? Then it is called what? Mounting is the concept. So that's why mounting means it is a procedure where we attach a directory to the file system. Where we attach a directory to the file system. There are only two commands for mounting and unmounting a file system. So for mounting, mount is the command. For unmounting, umount is the command. So mounting purpose, mount is the command. For detaching the volume, that means unmounting the volume, then umount is the command. So let me explain practically. So how to mount your file systems. Okay. In the last class, we have successfully completed in the fdisk space -l, to verify the what partitions. This is called what partition 5. Okay, we have created this partition in a previous class. And within the partition, file system name is XFS. But you will verify the what file system after mounting it. After mount it. So now I will show you today how to mount and how to verify the what file system in the device. So now, what is mounting exactly? So once again I will repeat. After creating file system, we cannot store the data directly in the device, directly in the file system. So then people what to do? In the command line, we will use mounting is the concept. So for mounting, we need to create a directory because it is a logical linking between device and directory. Device and directory. So mkdir, my directory name. The directory name is nothing but mount point name. So generally, in the partition 5, we have created with 3 GB. Within the partition 5, what kind of data you will store it? So based on the what stored data, people will create your what directory names. For example, I want to store the what cloud related data in the partition 5. Then create a directory name with the cloud. I want to store the data with the database level. So then create a directory name with database. So like that, you will create your what one particular directory name. So now let me create. I want to store cloud related data. So that's why I'm creating cloud data is a mount point name. So already cloud data is exist. So let me take the another directory name is AWS data. So now I have created AWS data is the what? My directory name. Then how to mount it? Then mount is the command. Then what is your device name? I mean, I want to link between this partition and this directory. So that's why the partition name is /dev nvme0 n1 partition 5. Then space, the directory name is AWS data. So now if I enter, so successfully mounted. Then what is the meaning? This directory attached to this partition 5. So now onwards, if you create any file within this AWS data directory, everything physically stored in the /dev nvme0 n1 partition 5. That is the meaning, because we cannot store the data directly in the partition. So that's why we will use one mount point for the directories. I mean, you will use one mount point for the partition. Remember, people are calling mount points because after mounting, it is a mount point. But before mounting, it is a directory only. That's what every mount point is a one directory. Every mount point is a one directory. So how do you know that that device has been mounted or not? So that's what people to use df space -h option, disk free size. So now here partition 5 mounted to AWS data. So now if you store any file in the AWS data, it will physically store in the partition 5 because partition 5 attached to this AWS data directory. Same way, partition 2 attached to slash, partition 4 attached to home, partition 1 attached to boot. So these are all of the what? OS mount points. But now we have created the new mount point name is AWS data. So that AWS data is mounted to partition 5. Then what is the size of this mount point? 3 GB. So you want to get, I mean, what file system is existing within this partition. Then we will use capital T is the option, capital T. So that is called what type of the file system. So in the partition 5, what file system is there? XFS file system is there. XFS file system is there. Then what is the size of the file system? That means 3 GB. So out of 3 GB, used is 54 MB and free space is 2.99 GB. Then what is the mount point name? AWS data. This is the proper way to mounting a file system, to mounting a partitions or file system. People are calling file system because within this partition, file system is created. That's why mounting file systems. Fine. And the next important thing, even you have a command, mount command. If you run mount command, see this, here partition 5 is mounted on AWS data. Then these are all of the what mounted devices. Then type of the file system is existing XFS. Type of the file system existing XFS. So now I don't want to get all information. I want to get only then AWS data mount point details. Then enter. See that partition 5 mounted on AWS data device. Then in this partition 5, what file system is created? XFS file system is created. So now how to store the data? So now you will access AWS data mount point. So now within the mount point, let me create like it is called what? EC2 is the one file name, and like VPC is the one file name, and next it is called what? EBS is the one file name. Let's just I have created 3 files here, but where is the exactly these 3 files? So these 3 files are physically located in the partition 5. So that's what mounting concept meaning is. We cannot access directly any physical devices. So you want to store the data in the device or retrieve the data from the device. Definitely we will use the mount point. That mount point is nothing but what? One directory. So now we have successfully mounted the what file system. What file system is there? Just use the what mount point information like this. That's why people will execute every time df-th, right? This is called what? Mounting information. Now, the second very important thing, if I reboot my action, I mean, if I take any reboot, then these mount points are disconnected. These mount points are disconnected. Then people what to do? Again, will mounting the what? This file system with AWS data. Then how can you make file system persistent? How can you make file system persistent? Even if I reboot my computer, so every time partition file mounted to this AWS data mount point, then where to keep the details? That's why in Linux, people to use /etc fstab file. What is mean by fstab file? This is called what? File system table. File system table. So this fstab file maintain so the entry details of your file systems. Then in the file system, already slash, boot, home, swap is there because these four are created at the time of OS installation. Now let me add the word my new file system. That means my new mount point under here. What is the file system name? /dev nvme0 n1 partition 5 is my device name. Then this partition 5 mounted to which directory every time? I want to mount it to AWS data directory. AWS data directory. And then what is the file system name? So the file system name is XFS. It uses XFS file system. Then this is called what? Defaults. It's related to file permissions. So people will keep it the what? Default actions. Then it is called what? 0 and 0. Actually, these last two fields are file system verification fields. File system verification and the boot recovery fields. But in case you want to mounting, I mean before verification, then people to enable the what? Mount values are 1 no 1 no. 1 no 1 is nothing but to verifying the what file systems. But everything seems fine. That's why even OS level also the values are 0 and 0. Same way you will keep it the what 0 and 0. So now so we have successfully mounted the what file system permanently. When will you add the values in the etc fstab file? Then only your file systems are persistent. So after adding values in the file, see that after editing this file, run systemctl daemon reload is the command. Systemctl daemon reload is the command. Then save the file and run the command systemctl daemon reload. Perfect. So even we can run the command mount-a. I mean mount-a also is the command to update all entries in the etc fstab file. I mean in the fstab file, what are the entries are available? Everything will update with mount command along with A option. A means A for all to update all file systems in the fstab file, then enter. So perfect. If you run df space -h, then it is perfectly mounted. See that AWS data is mounted to partition 5. I mean, now onwards, if you take any reboot action or power off your computer, again power on your computer, this partition 5 every time mounted to this AWS data directory, AWS data mount point. Okay, so now here what are the fields in the fstab file? Please understand everyone. So the same instructions are here, persistently mounting file system. So the first field is block device, but I will tell you what is the block device also. But instead of block devices, I have been used partition name. And second point is field is mount point name. Our mount point name is AWS data. And third field is file system name. And fourth field is default actions. That is called what options. So fifth field related to backup. I mean, you want to take the word backups, then enable the value 1. But you don't want any backup options, then you will take the word 0. And the last field is file system checking verifications. That is called what? No need any file system checking verification. That's why field is 0. But you want to verifying the what file system before mounting, then we will use the what? One option. That is, see, the last two fields. Backup option for the dump of utility. Check order for the FSCK utility. FSCK means file system checking utility. But generally, no need these two options. That's why in the OS level also, these two values are the what? Zeros. So these are the what? Persistently mounting file system. Persistently mounting file system. So let me confirm. Again, I will create a what? One more process. So how to create a partition F disk? Now I want to create a one more new partition NVMe 0 and 1. So already we have some partitions. 5 partitions are there. Let me create a new partition N. So now we are creating the what? Sixth partition. Then first partition, first sector value empty. Now I will take the what? The second partition size is 2 GB. I mean the sixth partition size is 2 GB. Enter. So now partition 6 successfully completed. In the last class, I told you. So now to save the partition, W is the option. So now these partitions, how to update to kernel? How to update to kernel? Part to probe is the command. Then your device name. The device name is NVMe 0 and 1. Enter. So now partition successfully updated. This is the first step, how to create a partition. And what is the second step? You want to store the data or retrieving the data in the device. You must build a file system. How to build a file system? mkfs dot xfs xfs then space forcefully I want to build on NVMe 0 on the N1 partition 6. On the partition 6, we are creating file system. Yes, successfully created. Then what is the next important thing? I want to store the word something in the word partition 6. That's why we need to mount the device. How to mount the device? First create a directory. What is the directory name? mkdir. Let me store in this device Azure related data, or I want to keep the word Google Cloud Platform data. So GCP data here. So now successfully created. Then what to do? Mount. The device name is flash dev NVMe 0 N1 partition 6. Then it is called what? GCP data. So successfully mounted. You want to make file system persistent, then what to do? These entries we need to keep in the etc fstf file. But I don't want to add inside the what? Fstf file. Directly, see, your file systems are successfully mounted. GCP data mount point is there. AWS data mount point also is there. So let me take reboot option. What happened after reboot? Just observe. Okay, now I want to log in with username root, then my password.
Ram,
Uh,
sorry to interrupt. So Ram, here you are trying to tell that for the root volume we have created, for that additional volume we are mounting, right? So
Correct.
the data which we are creating in that additional volume, instead of adding the data directly, we are creating the directory, and to that we are mounting. Correct, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay.
Okay. So now, okay. Now observe guys here. So if I run the command df-h again, so what are the mount points are available? Only AWS data mount point is there. So we don't have any GCP mount point. What is the reason? We did not add the details in the etc fstaff file of your slash GCP data. So remember, the slash etc fstaff meaning is persistent mount points, permanent mount points only. So when will you add the details in the etc fstaff file? Then only your mount points are permanent. In case if you don't add the details in the fstaff file, then people how to mount again? You will go for manually slash dev nvme0 n1 partition 6. Then it is called what again? GCP data. Now this is the way to mount after rebooting. But how can you ignore this kind of problems? How to make file system permanent? That's what you will keep the what? etc fstaff file entries. So already entries are related to slash boot home AWS data. So let me add the what? Details of my partition 6 also. So how to add the details in the partition 6? Partition 6 every time mounted to my mount point name is GCP data. So remaining file system name, defaults and everything is common. Now you can save the file. This is the way in the real time. I mean, people are giving the what activities. What kind of activities? They are giving like create a create a one partition or one volume with 5 GB with 5 GB, and then they will tell build a file system build a file system XFS, and then create a mount point. I mean directory. Mount point is please make it Oracle data. Then mount it, mount it with permanently or persistent permanently. So then we will use the word etc fstaff file. What is this activity? So first with help of fdisk command, create a 5 GB partition. Then under this 5 GB, build a file system XFS. Then third point is the what? Create a one directory for mounting Oracle data. Then finally, add the entries for the permanent mount point etc fstaff file. Then people mount points are ready. You will send your reply. Your mount point Oracle data is ready with 5 GB. Then Oracle people to use the word this mount point. The backend is what 5 GB. So this is the proper way in the real environment. How to mount the what file systems. Okay, you will get activities like this. But mount point space is completed, then how to expand the what file system sizes and everything, later I will explain. That is the different concept. But so far, what are the three steps? How to creating file system, how to mounting the file system means this is the way. Next, and another important point, now how to unmounting a file system. How to unmounting a file system. So remember everyone, for example, already we are how to unmounting file system means generally umount is the command, then space, your mount point name is GCP data, or you will use instead of your mount point your device name also. My device name is /dev nvme 0 n1 partition 6. I want to unmount it. So otherwise you will use the word simple, the mount point name is GCP data. So now my mount point is disconnected. Disconnected means your partition is still is there, but your mount point is what? Disconnected from the partition only. Okay, this is called what? How to unmount. See, please compare. Attaching pen drive to your laptop is nothing but mounting, and removing the pen drive from the laptop is nothing but what? Unmounting. So technical words: mounting, unmounting, attaching, detaching. Fine. So now we have successfully unmounted. Then second important thing, people sometimes what to do, they are trying to unmount the what? Mount point. So they will do, for example, even I have another mount point. If you run df-h, there is no mount point related to GCP data. AWS data is there. Some people what to do, they are getting already, they are working in the same mount point. Now from this they will execute umount space, it is called what? Like it is mount point name is AWS data. AWS data. Then when unmounting, see AWS data target is busy. So we cannot unmount the what? File system, because already we are working in the what? Same mount point. So how can you unmount within the mount point? So we cannot unmount. So first you will come out from the particular mount point. Then you will execute the what? That particular mount point details. So definitely, if you unmount it, successfully unmounted. This is the what? First error. I mean, people will get the what? Error message. Sir, we are trying to unmount, getting error. Target is busy. Target is busy means maybe you are working within the directory, within the mount point. This is the first important thing. Now, the second important thing, let me execute mount-a because there is no mount points here, df-h. So no GCP data, no AWS data mount points. But if I run mount-a command, again fstf files will update. Update means, so already in the df-h, see that AWS data and GCP data mount points are again enabled, because these two mount points are already in the etc fstf file. So you want to update fstf file, then mount-a is the command. Even lot of modifications are done. So that's why please execute this command is the warning message. So now let me execute the same command here. Now after executing this command, if you run mount-a, no error. Then df-h, again AWS data, GCP data mount points are done. This is the first important thing, how to unmounting a file system. Then second important thing, already some people are working in the what? Same mount point. For example, let me open the what? Another mount point, another terminal. In the terminal, the username is ROM. So ROM user is running. Okay. So ROM user accessing GCP data mount point. So now GCP data mount point. So ROM is working on GCP data. Now in the backend administrator, while working the user, person trying to unmount, I mean you mount even forcefully, if you try to unmount GCP data, then enter. What happened? Still GCP data target is busy. What happened? I mean, when the target is busy is the message, then you have to think, okay, we are not working on the what current directory. This is the current mount point. This is the first solution. And second solution is, okay, somebody is using this GCP data mount point. Who is using? Here is the what? ROM user. GCP data is using by the ROM user. But admin, how to find who are using this GCP data mount point? So that's what the two beautiful commands are there. One is lsof is the command, list open files. Then if you run the what mount point name, GCP data, then enter who are using this GCP data. Yes, here with process ID 6729, user ROM using this GCP data mount point. Oh, ROM user is using GCP data. Let me open again another window, and SU space, the username is Raju. So Raju also using the what? GCP mount point. Then if I run the what lsof command again here, the admin will find, okay, right now two users are using this GCP data mount point. One is Ram, another one is Raju. This is the proper way to finding who are using your mount points. And even lsof or f user also is the command. F user is the command space that mount point name. So this is also good command to find who are using the mount point. So GCP data with options user, who are using. No. Okay, the option is use a user verbose option, I think. Perfect. So now here who are using, okay, root user is created. That is the first important thing, that mount point. And one more user, Ram and Raju. These two guys are using right now this mount point. Okay, already those people are valid people. That means, okay, those people are belonging to this GCP data persons. No worries. But anybody accessing, unauthorized people are running on the what GCP data, then admin how to kill the what that particular user. Then people use kill command with process ID. Okay, let me terminate 68884. That means Raji user is unauthorized user for this GCP data mount file. Then if I run it, so now the backend is Raji user has been terminated. So now this is the what ROM user. Then where is the Raji user? So that this is the Raji user. GCP data is killed. Then we can check it lsof command again. Still here it is called what? Raji user is running. Then people how to kill the what process, then we will use forcefully to terminate it. 9 is the option to kill the process forcefully. So enter. So command completed. That means the process has been terminated. The user has been terminated now. Observe here the Raji user is killed. So they are automatically exited from the GCP data directory. So this is the proper way. So administrator to find who are using mount points, and in case unauthorized people are accessing, then how to kill it. Then we will use kill space 9 means this is the what one kind of signal to kill the process, to interrupt the what process. Which process you need to interrupt? That is called what? 6884 process. This is the PID. Who is using this PID? Raji user. That's why Raji user is terminated. But still, one user is running this GCP. Who is the user? ROM user is running now. In case ROM also not valid, then you will use the word. You will kill the word ROM user process ID 6729. Now you will generate a mail to particular Ramu and Raj user. Why are you accessing this GCP data? So regularly, unauthorized people means in the environment, people will get you what mail, why are you accessing this mount point like that? Okay, so now no one using this particular LGCP mount point. Now we can go for unmounting the file system, umount space -f, then we will go for the what? GCP data, unmounted. So now this is not there. GCP data is not there. So you want to remove completely, then please remove the what? Entries in the etc fstab file also. Permanently you want to unmount it. So don't unmount only. I mean, don't keep it the what you mount only. You will go for the what etc fstab file and also remove the what entries related to GCP data. Otherwise, please be keep the what single line comment line. It's not working means has is a what single line comment. In case in future also maybe you want to use this mount point. Then what to do? Simply to delete your what entry. After deleting the entry, then save it and run the command systemctl daemon reload option. Because entries are modified, then better we can run this systemctl daemon reload. If you run df-h, so now only AWS data is there. Even we can run mount-a command, mount-a command, update the what all entries. Then no GCP data. This is the proper way to clean the mount points in the environment. Okay, how to mount and how to unmount is clear. Then second important thing, sometimes people to keep label names. People to keep label names. So what exactly mean by label names, guys? So label names means nicknames of the partitions. I mean nickname for the file systems. So by default, your Windows drives are, your Windows drives are running with local drive C, local drive D only. But I have renamed softwares is the label name. Windows is the label name because I need to understand, okay, D drive is the softwares. In the drive, softwares are there. In the drive, Windows OS is there. But by default, these drive names are local drive C, local drive D, local drive E, like that. But label names are nothing but alias names, nicknames. So how to keep the label names for the drives? So we can use xfs underscore growfs is the command. Xfs underscore growfs for keeping label names. Okay. Xfs underscore uh, admin, I think. Okay. XFS underscore admin, the label name is, for example, -L is the option to check the label names. Okay. My mount point name is /dev nvmeet0 n1 partition 5. Okay. What is the label name existing for the partition 5? So right now, there is no label name for the partition 5. Right? So to verify the label names, XFS underscore admin, L is the option. Then second important point, you want to update your label name. First, unmount your file system. First, unmount your file system. How to unmount it? You mount. Okay, even if you're trying to writing the label names for the partition, generally how to keep the what label names? Then capital L is the option. Okay, sir, I want to keep the what label names. I mean, in the partition file, songs are there. So now here is the what label name is songs for the partition file. Then if I enter, see that label name songs successfully updated. Then updated XFS underscore label name. What is the label name for this? Songs is the label name for the partition file. Songs is the label name for the partition file. Even how to find a label name, mount -L option by using grep-I. Okay, label name is songs. See this partition file, it's mounted on AWS data, but type of the file system is XFS, but label name is running with songs. Okay, so to verify the label names, L is the option. To change the label names, capital L, songs. You want to update your label name. Okay, actually songs is the not correct way because it is a AWS data. Let me keep the word cloud data is my label name. Cloud data is my label name, or my cloud is the word my label name. Then enter, label name has been updated. Check it here instead of songs, then we will use the word cloud. Okay, now this partition file running with label name cloud. Now remember, with help of label name also, we can mount the what file systems. So we have multiple ways to make file system persistent. So let me apply in the etc fstab file. In the etc fstab file, so we have mounted already with the partition names. But now let me apply not only with partition name, that partition name mount point, I mean label name is, how to keep the label name, label with capital letter equal to, okay, my label name is actually cloud. Label name is cloud. So now this cloud label name is for partition file. So now let me verify the details, save it, and run the command systemctl daemon reload option. After that, if I run mount-a command, successfully mounted with label name. But see, I will prove it. I mean, label names are wrong. In the fstab file, actually there is no label name with the name cloud. Actually, the mistake is clouds. Cloud is there, clouds is there. Now, if I try to mounting the file system, mount-a, see what happened, error is AWS data cannot find label names clouds. But actually, this mount point label name is cloud is there, clouds is not there. That's why it is an error. So when the entries are correct, you will get empty output. Maybe while mounting again fstab file, remounting fstab file, you will get an error like this. So now let me change the what value. Okay, clouds are not there. Actually, my label name is cloud only. Now, if I update, then mount-a, no error. Then check it df-h. So mount point partition file on AWS data. This is the what another way to keep the label names for the file systems. Now, the third important way, how to mounting file system with block IDs. With block IDs. Block IDs means generally how to find your block ID. blk id is the command. blk id is the command. What is your partition name? /dev nvme0 n1 partition 5. Partition 5. Then if I enter, so actually the partition file label name is cloud, guys. But this partition file unique ID name is this is. Even this partition file running with type of the file system XFS. But every volume has one UUID, one unique ID. Okay. So you will keep it the word like copy this unique ID, and open the file system /etc fstab file. So instead of this partition file label names or partition names, you will use UUID values also. Now I'm pasting the what my values. So now observe here my partition also running with same like OS level. It is called what? Block IDs. OS level block IDs. So it is a great. Now my partition file AWS data mounted with block IDs. Same like OS level
Block ID is nothing but UUID.
unique ID.
Okay. So and another one, I have a doubt. Sorry to interrupt, Ram. Like here you are telling that your volume is replaced with that cloud name, right?
Volume.
A volume name is
Oh, no,
renamed
it is
as a
not
cloud.
volume name. We cannot change the word volume name. Volume name, alternative name, nickname.
Yeah, that's what we are
Hmm.
just renaming that.
Right. Just for identification. Label names are the word just for identification. So if you purchase any product, people keep the word tag names. Why need to people tag name is the person will identify the product details.
Okay,
Okay.
got it, Ram.
Okay. So now save and quit. Then run the command mount-a. Then it is called what? df-h, even successfully mounted. So please tell me, anyone, so how many ways to make file system persistent? How many ways to make file system permanent? To remove label names means and empty line only. Empty line is nothing but don't write the word label names. The same command in the double quotes, empty. Right. So tell me anyone, how many waves to make file system permanent? What happened, guys?
Two ways. One is
No. So the complete 1 hour class is with mount points only. The mount points mounting is partition based, label means block based. The 3 waves are there. Am I correct or not?
Yes.
Partition based, the first one. Second one is the what? Label name based. Third one is the what? Block ID based. Overall 3 waves to make file system permanent. But my question is, even in interviews, we have multiple ways to make file system persistent. Even label IDs are there, block IDs are there, and you can write the what volume names also. But why people prefer to UUIDs only? Even OS also recommended UUID values. What is the reason? UUID values means the drivers will load very fastly. I mean, it is called what? Very quickly. Because while rebooting your operating system, OS will read the what etc fstab file. etc fstab file. That's why these mount points are will loaded after rebooting OS. That means at boot time, OS is recognized this etc fstab file. But when will you keep it UUID values in the fstab file, it will load, file systems will load very fastly. But compared to label names and partition names, UUIDs are very better. What is the reason? It will load very fastly. That's why OS recommends block IDs only. OS recommends block IDs only. Right. So now this is the what? How to mounting file systems. Now the next important thing in the environment, I mean, you will get repeated interview question, how to managing ISO images. That means how to load ISO image files. Generally, you know that what is mean by ISO image file. So ISO image file means it is a one DVD or it is a one CD or it is a one Blu-ray disc or anything. An ISO file is a disk image file. So with help of this disk image file, you will install the what OS and everything because it is a binary file. But by default, we cannot read any binary data. We cannot read any binary data. So how to read binary file information or how to read your ISO image file data, your ISO image file data. So that's what the question is. Some people will share the data with ISO images. But when you are trying to open that file, the completely format is with binary only. Binary means we cannot read. It is zeros and ones or something like. But how to convert binary format to your text file format? That means how to mount or extracting your downloaded image file. Okay, that is called what? How to reading ISO image files. This is also good concept in the real time. How to reading the ISO images data. So now let me explain it. But already I have a one ISO image file in the OPT location. My image file is RHL 9.4. It is called what? Boot ISO. That boot ISO means it is a 1 GB file approximately. But any ISO image file, no issue. But you want generally how to read the file? Cat is the command or vim is the command to read the ISO image file. Don't type the word file name. Just enter the word RH or press the tab key. It will finish the word complete file name. So now enter. See that image file data is binary format. We cannot read the word data. So directly we cannot read any ISO image data. Then what is the information? I want to read this ISO image file data because someone is shared one ISO image file with me. But I want to know what contains this image file because every day I want to use this image file and to write the what files, I mean, to download the what files or maybe to install in the what application or something. So how to read this ISO image file? So For reading ISO image file, we will use the file system name is ISO 9660. So remember, for regular volumes uses XFS, ext3, ext4, ext, like it is called different file system. For ISO images, the file system name is ISO 9660. File system name is ISO 9660. Then how to mount the images? You want to read the data? Definitely mounting only is the solution. How to mount it? Mount is the command. And before mounting, okay, let me create a one directory, mkdir. For example, let me use RHL9 data. The meaning is, okay, I will understand RHL9 data means, okay, RHL9 ISO image data. So now create a directory. Then how to mount it? Mount space -t, then use the file system name ISO 9660. File system name is ISO 9660 and use -o. The option is loop. So generally what is -o? Loop is the option to read the what file systems. I mean loop is the option to read the what ISO images. And then you will call the what loop option with -o. Then space, what is your mount point? What is your image name? First write the what image name is RHL 9.4 image name. Then this image mounted to which directory? It is called what? RHL 9 data directory. RHL 9 data directory. If I enter, so now it's successfully mounted with read only because we cannot write the data in the image. So it's successfully mounted. Then check it. What is the mount point name? If I run df space -h, yes, RHL9 data is mounted to your /dev loop, which is the binary of the 9.0. I mean 9.4 image. If you run ls space, what is your mount point name? RHL9 data. Yes, this is the data in the image. This is the data in the image. Now it is a readable format. So every day you will use this mount point in case you want to access your image data. We cannot access directly image. That's why that image is mounted to one directory. So from this directory, you will read the what your image data. This is the command to mounting any ISO image. Any ISO image you want to mount it. This is the solution. This is repeated interview question. How to mount ISO image file? May I know what is the file system name? Or can you tell me what is the command to mount ISO image? And then, sir, every day I want to access this image data from the RHL9 data mount point. Then people what to do? People will keep the what under etc fstab file. Under fstab file. So let me add what is your mount point name? I mean your ISO image file name. Where is the ISO image file? Please check the what your first location. Under OPT, that image name is this is RHL 9.4 x86 underscore boot ISO image name. Okay, so in case maybe it is a large name, simply to rename with what RHL9.iso file for mounting, simple mount point. Why need to maintain these long names? Simply to rename the file, later we can mount it. Then let me use under etc fstab file. Now see, I will go for where is the file under OPT, absolute path names only. Where is the file under OPT? The file name is RHL 9.4, that image. That image is mounted to which is called RHL 9-data. But don't forget, the file system is not XFS. The file system name is ISO 9660. Then keep the what? Defaults. Again, it is called what? 0, 0 option. Then save and quit and run the command and system CTL because entries are loaded, system CTL daemon reload. Then run the command mount-a, no errors. Then check it df-h, see RHL9 data mounted to your loop 0. That means the file system name is particular directory. But what file system is loaded in the df space th? What is the file system name? ISO 9660. But already that image is mounted with this media directory. So that is also loaded with what? ISO 9660. This is the what? 11 GB. So automatic loaded file system this is. But recently we have loaded, that is called what? Boot image file RHL9 data, which is called what? ISO 9660. So this is the different image, that is called what? 9.4, 10 GB image, 11 GB image. This is the what? 1 GB image. Any image, how to read and mounting the file system, this is the process. And remember, don't take any reboot options in case any mistakes in the fstab file. When the mount -a, I mean the everything loaded successful, then only you will take the what? Reboot option. In case so a lot of errors in the fstab file, then if you take reboot option, your system will stop the what? Rebooting. That means you will get the what? Multiple errors while rebooting your system. Again, you will struggle the what? Lot of issues. But any mistakes are happen in the fstab file, but unfortunately you have rebooted, then how can you troubleshoot your OS? That is in the troubleshooting lecture. I will tell you how to resolve the what? File system errors. I mean mount point issues while booting. Okay, so this is called what? Completely mounting concept. Mounting concept. So in the real time, people every day working on the what? Mounting concepts. So every day you will get different tickets. So create your what? One volume with 10 GB or 5 GB. Then build your what? One file system on the volume. Then mount your file system with a permanent. Create your what? Mount point name this is, and add the what? Entries in the fstab file. Yes, your mount point is ready with 10 GB. Your mount point name is this is. Then resend a mail. Then people to use the what? Your mount points in the backend. But you will operate the what? This mount point, the backend root level, like this process. Same way in the AWS people, they will create multiple volumes. I mean EBS volumes. They are attached to volumes to instances. I mean except XVDA, XVDB, XVDC, that volume names. So they will add the volume into instance, then format the what? Volume first with file system, and you want to mount file system permanently, then add the what? etc fstab file permanently. But that is the what? AWS class, how to manage in the volume. But people will not take again lectures on the what? Mounting, or like it is called fstab file entries like that, because it is not a Linux lecture. So that is the what? AWS lecture. But AWS means already people must to knowledge on the what? Linux. Then they will know how to mounting the file systems. Okay, this is the what? Perfect concepts. That's what I'm saying. If you know strong knowledge on the Linux, you will operate everything in the what? Cloud computing or DevOps. Even not only here, in everywhere, easily to operate it. So ultimately, one point again, when the OS level, I mean you want to manage well workloads on the platform of Linux, definitely good knowledge in the Linux first. So when the OS stability is well, then workloads are running perfectly. Otherwise, every day you will face the what? Lot of issues on your regular workloads, because OS is not perfect. How can you manage your workloads? So your mobile Android OS is not working, not perfectly running. How can you manage your application? That is the concept. So in the OS level or storage level, everything is perfect, then you will operate very easily in your workloads. This is the what? Today class. And tomorrow, I will explain what is a virtual memory and what is meant by ACLs in the environment. So how to manage file system security and how to improve your system performance with help of the what? Virtual memory. That is what, again, ultimate concept. I mean very good concept. Tomorrow, virtual memory with file system security options. Now questioning time. If you have any queries, and please ask me.
Ram,